Welcome to Intuitive Seek. My name is Mary Train, and as an intuitive guide, energy healer, and meditation teacher, I aim to bring you a grounded approach to all things energy and intuition. Everything I share is with the hope to help you remember how your unique power of intuition is your own greatest teacher. Hello, welcome to your intuitive week of October 6th, 2025. These energy impressions, energy update for the week ahead. And if you have not listened to last week, to my October overall energy for the month, I definitely suggest to listen to that. You may find some guidance that really helps you navigate through the month. And I have 2 workshops this October that I have just announced. They are on Saturday, October 18th and Saturday, October 25th. The first one is Learning the Art of Intuitive Spoon Bending, a very magical workshop and deeply helpful if you're interested in manifestation, manifesting on any sort of level. This will really help you. And on Saturday, October 25th, I will be hosting Be Your Own Oracle, a workshop to learn how to be your own oracle, to connect to your unique energy and the deep wisdom that you carry within your own energy centers. And all of the info is through the links in the show notes. I hope you can join us. I cannot wait to host these. All right. And a quick reminder to anyone who is new listening, welcome. The way that I connect to receive these energy updates, energy impressions, I go into a really nice deep meditation with the intention to receive insight, guidance, clarity, anything that we need to know or remember or focus on that can really help us navigate through the week for our highest good. And one of the big aspects of these energy updates is to use them as an intuitive development piece, as a way for you to discern when something resonates and when something doesn't. This is a really important part of understanding the language of your intuition and building your trust in it. So make sure that as you're listening, trust what resonates. If it sounds like it is for you, that I'm speaking to you and your experience, then it's for you. Don't try to fit it into your life. Really trust what is for you and then leave anything that is not. So here we go, your energy update for your week of October 6th, 2025. So when I first opened up the meditation, the imagery was walking in more of a twilight, more of a darkness, but with some light peeking through, similar to last week. But this time there is sparks. There's sparks of life kind of blooming around us. And blooming is the word I use because it was like plants and flowers blooming in the ether around us, in the field, in the unseen. But they are making their way into our reality. This really feels like a week for us to pay attention to what you have planted, an idea, an inspiration, something you're wanting to create and grow, a dream, a desire, to bring your attention back, your awareness back to what you have planted for yourself a while ago. Because now, this week, it could be asking to be brought to life. And then I saw our hand, so the person in the meditation that represents us, I saw our right hand opening. So our right hand opening up, and there was a snail resting inside of our palm. And because our right side is really connected to our action, to our ways in the outer world, in what we can do, that more masculine energy, not the gender, but the energy, this feels like a call to connect with what has felt slow in your life, what has been going on at maybe a snail's pace, much slower than you would have liked it to go. What feels like it has gone so much slower than you would have wanted it to be? When have you said, "What is taking so long? Why isn't this going faster? What is wrong? What did I do wrong?" So, really connect to that. And then it feels like it's time to speak it, to declare it, to claim it, to shift whatever feels like it's gone much too slowly, to shift it into now, to almost transform it into what you are doing now, to shift the energy, to shift the rhythm into what is happening in the present. Because the energy this week feels like it's supporting that growth. There is a acceleration almost that is present. And also the spiral of the shell of the snail. This symbolizes our path and our growth, our experience, especially our spiritual growth, what we have been through, what we have learned. Are we spiraling inward? Have you been spiraling inward enough? Is it time to bring everything you learned and experienced out into the world, to share it? Is that what has been blooming and is ready to come into your physical reality? It feels like this week, for some of us, it's time to really claim your vision, to release any old rhythm that maybe was a habit, but it's not for now. It doesn't work anymore. It's time to change and let go of that. Maybe let go of what happened before, let go of past actions that felt like it led nowhere. But remember the spiral path. You are in a different place, even if it feels like it didn't go anywhere. The experience happened. And this is a new time. It is not the same as it was. And then in the meditation, there was some heat and activity and a spotlight on our throat energy center, our throat chakra. This feels like there could be a lot of help focusing on healing, clearing, and supporting. I'll put in the show notes my Reiki healing meditation for the throat. But if you have been noticing any physical manifestations of this can be like a lump in our throat. This can be more dehydration, like feeling very thirsty. This can be even a sore throat. This can be kind of your words catching or not really being able to say what you are trying to say, feeling really misunderstood. Also, if you've been having some teeth grinding or like a TMJ action in the jaw, all of these can be symptoms of pay attention. Your throat needs support. But also the ears, if you've had any kind of pressure or plugged up feeling, that can also be a symptom if it's unexplained. If you have no idea why you've been feeling these things physically, these can often be linked to your energy. And then I wanted to just touch on, because it does feel quite connected to what I received in the meditation, I wanted to touch on that we start this week, the Monday, October 6th, with a full moon in Aries. So a new moon cycle. The eclipse season is over. We are in a new phase. And this energy supports releasing what is no longer supporting us. And this full moon is fiery, a real kind of fierce fire. Also, because of the throat focus, maybe pay attention to the fire of your words, that Some things do need to be said, but maybe some things don't. So make sure that when you're speaking this week, that they are your words and not someone else's. But also pay attention to when you really want to point your fire at someone. That kind of, we've talked about before, that like, don't be a jerk energy. Be aware of that, because there is this feeling of, even though it's very fiery, it feels like we need to kind of lighten up with that energy. We can get kind of swept away with that fire this week if we are not paying attention. And if you do have that awareness around you wanting to really say something or, point that fire within you at somebody or someone or something, that could be a misdirection. That fire, that feeling you have, could actually be your creative energy that is needing an outlet. What are you actually needing that fire for? Even though it may feel more familiar or comfortable to express it outward at instead of outward to create. There's also this full moon energy that has these themes, the themes around the energy of this moon that I wanted to share that could maybe inspire you even more about everything that we've already talked about. So some of the themes for the energy of this full moon: being brave, being very bold, going headfirst into sharing and expressing and trusting yourself and your intuition and your magic. It may even bring feelings of clarity about how you have been kind of playing small, or maybe deceiving yourself, not in a bad way, but in a way of trying to protect yourself. That maybe you were telling yourself, it's not time, or you're not ready, or you don't know enough, or you haven't prepared enough. Is that true? The energy this week, especially with this moon, is helping us to claim and reclaim. That's what it really feels like. And then the animal of the week. Now, we already had the snail, but it didn't feel like the animal inspiration. It felt more about what I shared, that symbolism was with the symbolism in the meditation. And I brought the intention, as always, for animal inspiration, to receive an intuitive animal. And there was another animal, and it was a butterfly. It was quite surprising because even though the butterfly is a really common symbol, it doesn't show up very often in these energy impressions, these energy updates, if ever. And so I was almost a bit resistant to it. I even went back into meditation to make sure, and it was the butterfly. A beautiful flying butterfly that kind of changed color from blue to green to yellow to orange. And before I share the energy of the butterfly, I did also connect to more symbolism between the snail and the butterfly together, because it made me think of fire. And this week begins, as we were talking about, with such a fiery start in that full moon energy of Aries. And how do you make fire? You need fuel, you need oxygen, and you need some energy, something to ignite it. And the fuel in fire could be the earth, that snail, earthy, grounded energy. And then the oxygen, the air, the butterfly flying through the air, symbolizing that air oxygen that we need for a fire. We have our fuel, the earthy snail. We have our oxygen, the air butterfly, but then you need something to ignite. You need something to make the fire, to make the reaction. And we need that heat, something to provide the energy to create it, like lightning in real fire. But I'm sharing all of this because this was a metaphor that came, that you are the energy, that your actions and words that your inspiration and ideas, you are the fire starter. And I got a bit distracted for a moment because it reminded me of the Prodigy song, Firestarter. So, you know what? If that connects to you, maybe listen to that song. Eh, but this metaphor of the snail and the butterfly and the fire, in that our energy, our gifts and abilities and inspiration and creativity, that we create the ignition, that we are the spark. And the snail and the butterfly could be reminding us of that, that we have all the resources, we have the fuel, we have the oxygen, we have everything we need, all the conditions to get things going in a way that maybe we haven't had in a really long time. So, how are you igniting your fire this week? How are you trusting the resources and conditions are right for what you need to do? And now I'll share some more about the symbolism and energy specifically for the butterfly. And when I share about this, connect to it where it fits in your life. Where does it bring you? With the words that I share about the butterfly, how is it spotlighting something that you need to know or remember or connect with? So the butterfly symbolizes the energy of transformation, freedom, joy, new beginnings, beauty, soul purpose, messages and connection with the other side, personal and spiritual growth, and new beginnings, taking flight into something new, into a new realm. And I wanted to share an excerpt. You know, I love that Animal Speak book by Ted Andrews because it has such cross-cultural meaning and symbolism that can really inspire us. And this excerpt that I'm going to share really stood out and felt connected to the energy of this week. Butterflies appear to dance as they light upon flowers and such. They remind us not to take things quite so seriously within our lives. They awaken a sense of lightness and joy. They remind us that life is a dance, and dance, though powerful, is also a great pleasure. Butterflies can remind us to get up and move. For if you can move, you can dance. Dance brings the sweetness of life back. This is further exemplified by the fact that butterflies actually have taste receptacles on the front of their legs. They taste flowers by walking upon them. Butterflies bring color and joy with them. When butterflies come into your life, look at how much or how little joy is in your life. Lighten up. Look for change. Don't forget that all change is good. Butterfly medicine reminds us to make changes when the opportunities present themselves. Transformation is inevitable, but butterfly will help teach you that growth and change does not have to be traumatic. It will teach you that it can occur as gently, as sweetly, and as joyfully as we wish. So quite a positive and beautiful energy and a great reminder about change and transformation, that it doesn't have to be painful. It doesn't have to be. That is the essence of life, is change, right? So yeah, how can the butterfly really inspire that for you this week? And let me share some questions. There were a few questions throughout what I shared already, but here are some focused journal prompts, intuitive questions that you can answer all or a few or none, however you want to use them. But you can answer them in a traditional journal, or you can answer them in a voice note to yourself. There's so many different ways. And the first question is, what do you need to declare, claim, or reclaim? Trust the first thing that comes and speak it out loud and really feel it. And the second question could be, how can you ignite your fire this week? What are you wanting to do? Where are you focusing your energy? And a third question, describe and detail any transformations that you have been through in your life And as you detail it, describe it, when you read it, when you look it over, how does that offer you insight and help now? And a fourth question to finish off the week: where in your life do you need to lighten up? Where are you taking yourself way too seriously? Where in your life can you lighten up? And I hope that those questions really help you connect to more of what you really needed to know about yourself and your life and your week. And thank you so much for listening to this episode of Intuitive Seek. I would love to hear if you resonated with anything that I shared about the week of October 6th. And if you have any thoughts or questions, please don't hesitate to send me a message. All the links are in the show notes there. Follow me on Instagram at Treenlight. I'm there most days and always check my messages. And you can also contact me through my website. And if you're curious about working with me, signing up for the workshops this month, working one-on-one, and exploring all the ways I can support you, go to the links in the show notes and everything you need is there. Hugely appreciated if you subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. And if you feel called to give some additional support, then please share this episode with a friend, or you could leave a review. Both of those ways really help other people find the podcast, and it's so appreciated. So thank you again. Be kind to yourself, and I will talk to you next week.
Hi, Auntie Mary. I just wanted to say something very, very meaningful. Cat.